The 14th of May 2024 might go down in history as the day Georgia's European dream died. Parliament passed the controversial bill that's believed to restrict freedom of speech. The debate was heated and marked by scuffles between lawmakers. The so-called Russia law requires any organization receiving at least 20% of its funds from abroad to register as pursuing the interests of a foreign power. Tens of thousands of people have been taken to the streets in recent months and weeks amid fears it might be used to quash dissent. The government pressed ahead, arguing such legislation stems from a perceived foreign influence on the country's politics. Now, the country's application to join the European Union is at risk, but demonstrations and strikes are likely to continue as protesters vow to keep up the struggle for democracy.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told US Secretary of State Antony Blinken that military aid and backup air support must be delivered quickly. Blinken was in Kyiv to discuss defence challenges as a new Russian offensive pounds the country's northeast.
I want to discuss with you about some I think, very important issues. The first, the decision of the package was crucial for us. It's very important to get it as quick as possible. And the second point is air defense. Really, we need today 2 Patriots for Kharkiv.
The visit comes less than a month after US Congress approved a long-delayed $60 billion aid package for Ukraine.
This is a challenging time, but we also know that in the near term, the assistance is now on the way. Some of it's already arrived. More of it will be arriving, and that's going to make a real difference against the ongoing Russian aggression on the battlefield.
Meanwhile, Blinken dined with Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba at what the Secretary of State referred to as a superb veteran-founded pizza restaurant. Eating off a glass table containing bullet casings, the duo shared a Veterano pizza-made vegetarian pizza and a meat lover, dubbed the Ukrainian.
The Kharkiv Regional Prosecutor's Office says at least 1 person has been killed and 4 others injured in a Russian strike on a commercial facility. Officials say the building was hit with an X-59 missile in the late afternoon. Kharkiv's governor says Russian troops are attacking new areas with small assault groups in a bid to stretch Ukraine's forces. Russia's military entered Kharkiv on Friday, opening a new northern front in a war that's largely been fought in the east and south. Serbia's President Alexander Vučić has welcomed the EU's Enlargement Commissioner to Belgrade for talks about the country's membership. Oliver Vahe said the next European Commission would have to be an enlargement commission and hoped to see Serbia join. But he also said that Belgrade needs to continue with democratic reforms.
One cannot forget about the need to aligning further with the EU foreign policy. This is, again, something that we have discussed and where we need Serbia to move along.
Vučić was optimistic that Serbia's non-alignment with EU foreign policy would not hamper efforts to join the bloc.
Pravom zamjeri Oliver Varhelija, to je naša neusaglašenost sa njihovom spoljnom politikom ne bude smetnja.
Serbia has been an official EU candidate country since 2012, but since then there have been several bumps in the road. The country was rocked by protests last year following 2 mass shootings which left 18 people dead. Initially demanding tougher gun control laws, the rally soon morphed into anti-government protests. Protesters were angry about democratic backsliding, accusing the Vučić government of authoritarianism and corruption. Serbia raised eyebrows in Brussels after refusing to join in with EU sanctions on Russia following its invasion of Ukraine. Vučić claims to follow a neutral policy, balancing ties with Moscow and Brussels. But Serbia has also purchased Russian gas on favourable terms and added Russian hardware to its military arsenal. And there's Kosovo. It declared independence from Serbia in 2008, a move Belgrade refuses to recognise. Last month, EU foreign affairs ministers agreed to freeze Serbia's accession process if it didn't implement an agreement on normalising its relationship with Kosovo. The main condition is that Serbia stop obstructing Kosovo's efforts to join key international organisations such as the UN, the Council of Europe and NATO. Romania's National Trade Union has held a protest outside the parliament in Bucharest to demand lower rates of tax. Around 3,000 protesters took part, accusing the government of taking too much money in social contributions. The World Bank says some 5 million Romanians have emigrated in search of better salaries abroad since 1989.
Suntem copleșiți de taxe, de impozite, să scadă impozitarea pe taxa de muncă, birurile să scadă. În felul acesta am putea să avem, să ne ridicăm cumva nivelul de trai la noi în țară, să nu mai fim nevoiți să mai plecăm.
Protesters claim that more than 42% of their gross income goes to the state, compared to the EU average of 38%. According to Eurostat data, low wages and high taxation caused Romania to register the third lowest employment rate in the EU in 2023 after Italy and Greece. Only 69% of Romanians aged between 20 and 64 are in employment, meaning that almost a third of the adult population doesn't work. In 2023, Romania had an employed population of 7.7 million people, but only 5.6 million paid social security contributions. 2.1 million employed people didn't pay any contributions at all, although in some cases they received benefits. Students and employees from several universities in the Netherlands have walked out in protest at Israel's military operation in Gaza. Demonstrators entered the University of Amsterdam building and built barricades using office furniture. The university reported trespassing and vandalism and requested police intervention. The mayor of Amsterdam, the police chief and the public prosecutor deployed riot police to break up the protest. It's unclear how many protesters were arrested.
Hallo, wir sind Friederike und Jonathan und wir leben mit unseren 3 Kindern in Berlin. Wenn ich Europaabgeordnete wäre, würde ich mich dafür einsetzen, dass Kinderarmut bekämpft wird und würde es versuchen, bessere Bildungsangebote zu schaffen.
Und ich würde mich als EU-Abgeordnete darum kümmern, die europäische Verteidigungspolitik weiter zu integrieren, da mir die aktuellen Konflikte in der Ukraine oder auch in Israel große Sorgen bereiten. Und ich glaube, dass wir als Europa eine bessere gemeinschaftliche Antwort darauf brauchen, vor allen Dingen, wenn die UNO durch einen möglichen US-Präsidenten Trump geschwächt wird.
Walka o sprawiedliwość, o to, żeby Polska uzyskała reparacje, odszkodowania i zadośćuczynienie od Niemiec za skutki II wojny światowej. Niemcy nigdy nie zapłaciły Polsce reparacji wojennych i Parlament Europejski jest takim miejscem, który powinien zająć się kwestią nierozliczonych konfliktów z przeszłości. Kwestia odszkodowań, zadośćuczynienia za skutki II wojny światowej. Ale też drugim ważnym tematem jest to, żeby Polska nie utraciła swojej suwerenności na rzecz Unii Europejskiej. Nie możemy na to pozwolić. Walczymy o Europę ojczyzn, a nie Europę scentralizowaną.
OpenAI's latest update to its artificial intelligence chatbot can mimic human cadences in its verbal responses, and it can even try to detect people's moods. In a demonstration in San Francisco, the AI bot chatted in real time and even added realistic-sounding emotion to its voice. It also went step by step through a simple maths equation instead of just spitting out the answer. And it even correctly detected a person's emotional state by looking at a selfie video of their face, concluding that he was happy since he was smiling. GPT-4o will power OpenAI's popular ChatGPT chatbot and will be for everyone, including those who use the free version. And in a sign of just how fierce the competition to develop artificial intelligence is, the company chose to launch it just 24 hours before Google unveils updates to Gemini, its own chatbot.
And we think that GPT-4o is really shifting that paradigm.
Cannes Film Festival welcomes its 77th edition this Tuesday as the Euronews team is set to bring you the latest updates on this event. This year's festival will have Meryl Streep as the guest honor at the opening ceremony and Greta Gerwig as jury president. An Iranian director will also present his film in person after being sentenced to 8 years in prison.
اونا حق ندارن من رو از خلق اثر هنری محروم کنن یا شرایطی به وجود بیارن که این اتفاق بیفته و من همه تلاشمو به کار میگیرم. قبلا هم اینطور بوده که اون چیزی که فکر میکنم حقوق انسانیم هست و به دست بیارم.
There are also rumors of the possibility of more Me Too revelations during the festival after an 82-woman protest on the steps of the Palais in 2018 and a gender parity pledge in 2019. But the film festival general delegate downplays them.
L'an dernier, il y avait eu quelques polémiques. Et donc on s'est rendu compte de ça. Donc on a décidé de faire un festival sans polémique. Et il n'y en a pas. Il n'y a pas de polémiques qui viennent du festival.